Okay. So people are saying that Nas is not relevant. So everybody knows. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say everybody knows, but um, it's pretty apparent that I'm a fan of Nas. You know, Nas is somebody who I used to listen to heavy back in the day, and Nas is somebody that I listen to heavy right now. Now, 21 Savage, there's been a clip from Clubhouse of 21 Savage saying that Nas isn't relevant.
What y'all
Nah, they
saying?
got core
Relevant though? I
fans.
don't feel like he's relevant. I just feel like
No, no,
he got
none
a
of them are
fan.
relevant.
Man,
I don't feel
Coogee
like
rap,
Nas is
Outcast,
relevant.
Fat
I
Joe,
feel like
man.
Coogee
Man,
rap,
you
and
got
Kane dropped the
Outcast.
project, and that shit was
Hold
ass.
on. Who said none of them
Hold
are
on, who
One
relevant?
mic,
said?
one mic,
Who
one
said
mic,
Nas not
please. One
relevant?
mic,
21.
please.
bro,
No,
That's
bro,
not
no,
what he
it
bro,
is.
said.
Mike,
That's
one
not
bro,
what he
mic.
bro.
said.
No, one mic.
Bro, no, he's not relevant. He just has a
Yeah, I'll be right
loyal
back,
ass
though.
fan base.
Thank
He
you.
just has a loyal fan base and he still make good ass music. But
They don't have
like
a core fan base,
relevant,
bro.
what?
So what people are getting twisted, right? What people are getting twisted is people. So people have different perspectives on what they consider what is relevant, and it's all going to be based off of people's age and their outlook on what is relevant. So if you ask somebody who's like 21 years old or younger what relevant is, it's going to be different from someone who's like 25 and older. You know what I mean? So I mean, relevant is different. So in my humble opinion, I will share this. In my humble opinion, when you can, like, somebody that's relevant in hip hop is someone who is still selling records and they're still contributing to hip hop, right? And people are still buying their records and stuff. And people are still streaming their music. People are still listening to them. So if you have someone who is, especially someone like a Nas, who's a legend in hip hop, you can look at it from two different ways, right? So, I know that a lot of people they might think of it as, how can I put this? They might think of it as who is being talked about the most, right? So some people will be like, oh well, relevancy is based off of who's being talked about a lot in hip hop, right? Who's on the blogs. You got some of these people. You got some people who are relevant just based off of the antics and the things that they do in the media to keep the media talking about them, right? So if you want to look at it from that perspective, then you'll have people who's relevant, people like, Kanye West. Kanye West is very, very relevant based off just a media perspective. If you look at the news, he's always in the news, and he's and he makes hip hop music, aka gospel music. But to me, he's still dabbling in the hip hop music. He still makes hip hop beats and all of that. He's still contributing, right, to the art. And then you have somebody like a Nas, who may not be in the news like that all the time, but people are still buying his records. Now, I do understand in the conversation, 21 was saying, he has a core fan base or whatever. But if he's still contributing to hip hop, if he's still making hip hop music and he's still selling out like tickets and people are still coming to see him, then you're relevant. You got people like what's his name? So somebody like the Baby, right? So I know a lot of people were saying, oh, the Baby, he fell off and nobody's buying his tickets. When you get to a certain point to where as though, nobody is buying your tickets, nobody's coming to see you, and nobody's listening to your music, in my humble opinion, then you're not relevant anymore. Nobody's paying you, nobody's coming to see you, nobody's listening to your music. You're not relevant, right? But I mean, if you look at it from, like I said, from an age perspective, you got some people who will say, oh well, you know, like a young person may say like, oh well, you know, a person who's relevant right now is you know, somebody like a 21 Savage or a Kodak Black or a little Uzi Vert, you know what I mean, or a little Dirk. But then you have somebody like, you know, older like me. I'm not even gonna say I'm old as shit. That's what we're not gonna do. But I mean, I come from that old school hip hop generation, but I still listen to old school rappers or people that was popping back in, you know, the early 2000s or the late 90s, and I still listen to, you know, to the new people now. So, but I mean, still, for the most part, people who are, you know, 35 and older, they would say, you know, they might say something different. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of a perspective thing. You know what I mean? It's all about how you consider or how you look at relevancy. It could be based off the numbers, you know, your record sales or your streaming sales. It could be based off of ticket sales. It could be based off if you're always in the media. It's like what are we considering, or how are we defining relevancy? How do you define it? And then we can figure out if someone is relevant or not. So I mean, it's all about perspective for me, and that's my little 2 cents on this whole Nas relevancy thing. I mean, I respect everybody's opinion. You know what I mean? I've always have, always will. Everybody has their opinion, but I wish what I want to do is, you know, let's just come to an agreement on what relevancy is in hip hop, and then we can figure out who's relevant or not. You know, like I said, you can take it from the, you know, the angle of, you know, who's always in the media, who's selling records, who's selling tickets. You know what I mean? Who's getting Grammys. You know, there's so many different ways you can figure out who's relevant. But I mean, me personally, in my honest opinion, just based off the work that Nas has put in hip hop, and him being, you know, one of the people that push the genre forward, Nas will always be relevant, just based off what he contributed to hip hop and how he has pushed the genre forward. So, you know, gotta respect people's opinion. And I do that again. You know what I mean? I respect people's opinion, but yeah, Nas will, in my eyes, Nas will always be relevant. And yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. So let me know you guys comments below on if you guys think 21 Savage is right. Do y'all think Nas is relevant, or do y'all think he's not relevant? What's your thoughts on it? What's your comments? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like this video. And yeah, it's your boy Ant from the Hip Hop News Report, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.